Szerezz menő tudást. Az oktatáson egy látásmódot fogsz megtanulni. A látásmódnak van az a része, ami a kameramunka, és van az utómunka része. Mind a kettő szervesen összefügg egymással. A tanfolyam során mindenki kap olyan önálló feladatokat, amik bevezetik őt a vizuális sztorimesélés művészetébe. Hogy aztán később megerősödjenek benned azok az elképzelések, amelyekkel majd megcsinálhatod a saját filmjeidet.
That's how it actually starts. A white paper. The first line set into that darkness, onto that white paper, is the first beam of light. To set that first beam of light asks some decision. All the next beams, so-called, all the next lines then follow. But the first cut, or the first beam, the first line put into that darkness, that's the major step. To create that darkness, that the mind does not want to jump this first step, because it's frightening, it's insecurity, it's anxiety, it's all what you call, but not freedom.
There's some music in the background if you hear it. So you are happy when you complete something?
Yes, I am.
And when are you unhappy?
In between, you are tense, you know. The thing is to get your mind prepared, to be in a state of preparedness. There is no way of going around that total darkness. That's the risk. And the risk is not diminishing the longer you work. It's there every time. For a small or for a big piece, it's there every time. Glad to be born. Having good friends. Great kids. Wonderful woman. I guess I conceive energy of life not in forms of other beings, extraterrestrial nature. I conceive it as being right here and there, and being contained in everything that moves, and even in things that don't move.
That's how I came to Budapest, by chance, which turned into fascination for the city, for the people.
I guess I trust life. I see life as a force which has continuity, which is well-meaning to its creatures, if I can say that. It's not a punishing force which constantly cuts away on everybody's savings, you know. As I can reconstruct this moment, I can see it when I work on an empty paper. The first line, where does that line come from? Out of a black hole? Out of what? It's primary energy. That primary energy is being moved into existence, into physical evidence. I realize there is primary energy, and that primary energy is there all the time. That was not only so-called in the beginning. This is beaming right here and there, right here and now. I can only reconstruct it from my personal way of how I handle my talents, and there I can say it's there, we can use it. There are other elements, of course, which we human beings create. The structuring process, all what has to do with the reflection, organization, which then can put limits on this primary energy. I see this as a slightly out of balance state of being. So whenever primary energy is too much locked up, you create turmoil, whenever organizational structures are being neglected, you have chaos, state of imbalance. Balanced I am while I work. This is sort of a process. It's like crossing on a rope on a very high level, no safety net is below. You get the balance while you act. When you are at the end, there is no need for balance. But the balancing takes place while I do the drawing. In fact, it's a process. That's interesting to me, that balance can never be achieved as a goal. It's a movement, it's a process.
Okay. Good.
No, make the net. Celebrating life, you see? Water from ice in the view of the sun. There's nothing better than that. If you are behaving like ice, you are in a state, in a frozen state. But if you melt, it gets the best out of you. So the melting of ice, the end of isolation and of ice age, is also the beginning of the new birth, of a new birth. It's a birthday today. The eclipse is a birthday. Any move you do has influence. So any line, any composition I do does influence. I see that. And that's how life works. In that way I trust life. Even if I work out of isolation, it's still integrated because immediately it will start influencing. I personally think too that we have an inner recording system which can pick up signals from your father, mother, ancestors, from earlier cultures. Think of Greek art, Chinese art. When we undig artifacts, we can pick it up with our inner recorder. But without the physical part, what do we do? So I think giving physical evidence is of primary importance for life. We might, in our physical existence, just be physical body, but that's part of the individuation process of nature. I'm a person moving forward, like the river downstream, not knowing what will happen next. This is what you see here: transformation, ice, water, evaporation. I think all inside recording
has to be put to the test and to the risk of physical evidence. If we shy away from that, if I shy away from that, then I lose the meaning. I lose the thread. Nature as such is abundance. Nature is always too much. That's the secret of nature, that there is too much of everything, you know. I'm not there to judge this. I personally go with it. The problem is always, how do we get out of our inner Siberia, the country of the big sleep? How do we charge? We have to charge, we have to be charged to be able to perform. And this is the big question mark for everybody. Some do it by drugs, some do it by all kinds of exciting things, you know, to get themselves up there. Some have to have pain, some believe in, I don't know what, you know. But it's always the same thing behind. We have to charge. Anything remains, or any move we do, any touch, any breath we do, thus is integrated in life, and in that respect remains, is existent. Everything remains, but it's transforming, you know, into different stages. Now what we do physically and will stay physically as a leftover, of course, can be repeated, can be looked at, can be worked with. This is the pulse of life. It's not the individual shaping, but it's the pulsation of life. Individual shaping, that's what life is all about, the individuation process. Now, some of this individuation process will be left over of those which have a strong footprint. Others footprints dissolve faster, but the pulsation is there. I guess our innermost drive is always to leave some footprint behind. We build monuments, I think, as a replacement of life, as a replacement for action, as a replacement for that moments do not last, In our memory, we always think of the sunny days. But the rain is filling my heart with joy as a farmer's boy. It's a sign of life. And so, our systems collapsed are a sign of life to me, that things move on, that we are able to take the risk and build on to what has been proven not to be good.
My main goal is not the spectator. My main goal is to get my thing realized. I'm lucky I do not live in wartime, so it can be exposed, exhibited. But my goal was and is always, and it always will be, to get my thing done. So during the time I did step out of cultural life, of official cultural life, this was not a problem for me because I had my work and I knew it did progress well. So my goal was always get it done, and if I have it done, that's good for me, If people like it, this is unpredictable. This is for me. It's nice, but I have to do the work. I have not the public in mind when I do the work. I just want to get this damn thing on canvas or on paper or whatever.
Different layers, you see? Different steps, different layers with no purpose. This is our human tradition, To be able to perform, you need a very high level of perfectness. It's a contradiction. Chaos and the urge to perfect things, and we constantly work with that, overlapping, disturbing each other. That's somehow how I work. I pick up these signals, these little bits of drops of time, transform it in my inner sound body. People might call it soul, I don't know. To me it's somewhat different. It's like a recorder, which then through some other manipulations forms into the scripture of my hand. And by being able to do new scriptures, I can transform this experience into new images.
I wanted to show you something from a different angle. You know, there are two types of communication. One is the communication you get when you watch TV, when you listen, when you are receptive. And the other type of communication is when you are interactive, when you do something. So I guess you need both of them not at the same time, but this then forms the information. So I had the idea, we all get a red cabbage. You all have it in front of you. This is our monitor. You have probably not the slightest idea what's inside. This is the type of network now for us. It's the type of communication set. How do we produce information?
I'm looking for the beat, for a beat, be it in contact with a person, a thought, an idea, somebody throws something at me. I look for the circle, you know, where I can start to put my pen down. Most difficult thing is to find the place where you put the pen down on an empty space. And as soon as you decide where you put that pen down, you can develop.
Nam ka pusto aki nem fejes, nem menyecske, ki nem szemes, nem menyecske, ki nem csalja ki az urát, meg nem csalja. Nem menyecske, ki nem csalja ki az urát, meg nem csalja.
You have to follow the line, you follow the flow, the movement. You go along with it, you know. You say, did you just stop by chance? Of course, there is a point of no return, and then you can let it flow. You can always add, you can make it more difficult, but then I would use different tools, more fine tools, which make finer lines, so I can superimpose. These are quite rough tools, so I cannot superimpose easily.
Szanyikút, Szent Andrási Soprikút, szélről legeljetek, fának ne menjetek, mert ha fának neki mentek, fejeteket beveritek. Szillikút, Szanyikút, Szent Andrási Soprikút, Szillikút, Szanyikút, Szent Andrási Soprikút.
I let the hand flow, you know, I do not tell my hand what to do.
Busul a kislány, nincsen szeretője, ne busulj, te kislány, ne is iránkozzál, majd adaj.
Sometimes I enjoy, sometimes not, but it's irrelevant, you know. My feelings are absolutely irrelevant to the flow of the line. As I say, I try not to tell my hand what to do, not to tell myself what to do.
Lombon van a házunk, szélnek van fordítva, kerek ez ablakja, ingem lesnek rajta. Ingemet ne lessen senki barna fia, mert nekem úgyse kell, csak a bíró fia. Ingemet ne lessen senki barna fia, mert nekem úgyse.
It's my heartbeat, you know. It's basically my heartbeat, my impulse. And this impulse I do not neither correct nor do I limit it. I let it flow. And by letting it flow, I try to enlarge it, to give it space, to give it shape, to add imagination to it. The joy of nothing is a built-in equilibrium in life. And to me, it's not easy to get. It is a lot of damn hard work, you know, to get there. But it is the most free point, you know, you can reach when you do not do something for something. It is a goal, but it is not so limited in itself, you know. So I try to build up new images which are not based on our exterior life as we see it, trees, playground, buildings. I try to come from the inner beat and develop shapes and organisms. I had the person once. She came, a young girl, she walked in my apartment, it was in Michigan in the United States, and she said, "Oh, that's all what you do? You take a bunch of lines and make a picture out of it."